most productivity advice was built for people who don't have a daily energy cap. And if you're like me, if you've gone through burnout, if you've suffered from depression before, if you have a chronic illness, you know that I think you're at least more aware than most people that your energy levels will vary throughout the day and will vary from one day to the next. And this is even more important when you're doing a job where the workload can get very high or where the work can get stressful if you let it. So in my case, I am a product management consultant, and in itself, product manager is a pretty demanding job in the tech industry. And if you add consulting onto it, working with clients, it can really get overwhelming if you don't pay attention to your workload and if you're not intentional about it, and also if you're not trying to optimize your energy and also adapt your work to your energy levels. So I'll start with optimizing your energy because I think it's a very important topic. A lot of us still underestimate how much a good night of sleep, how much eating healthily, and how much adding movement and connection, socialization, moments of socializing with friends and family will have a positive impact on our energy level. Why? Because they will help us to have more energy, but also to recharge better. So, for instance, like I can tell myself if I sleep less than 7.5 hours, I will not have the same level of energy as if I'm able to sleep 9 hours. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, 9 hours is a lot. But I can tell you when you have a nighttime routine, let's say, that really helps you to disconnect after the end of your day and then to helps you to relax, it will be much easier to get 9 hours of sleep. So in my case, I will try and eat early. So early in France is like 7 p.m. I know in the US it's like 5 p.m., but here in France it's 7 p.m. because a lot of people eat around 8:30. So I will try to eat at 7 p.m. I will try to have showered before, worked out before, have gone outside before. So usually I'll be in my PJs. That is very different when it's the summer because it's so hot that I just want to get a cold shower in right before I go to sleep. Uh, and then what I will do is I will eat, I will shower, or just if I'm already showered, just go brush my teeth, do my skincare routine, and then I'll go in bed with a nice book. And I'll usually also do some type of breathing exercise in bed. The one I really love is when you breathe in for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds, and do that for 5 minutes. It will really relax me. Definitely, if you feel like your brain is still all over the place, go and do some type of relaxation, meditation. You can put some music in the back, whatever works for you. I know for me, after work, the moment, whether it's before I eat or after I eat, the moment where I usually disconnect is in the shower. It's usually that moment where I'm like, okay, the day is done, now I can relax. So just getting those good night of sleep will help. And if you're not able to sleep well, please seek advice. Like there is so much now on YouTube, in podcasts, and even with doctors now around small things that you can do to improve your sleep. Please do that. Like I know now I sleep with a mask on, and that also helps to tell my brain, hey, like now it's time to sleep. I haven't slept for years with my phone inside of my bedroom. It's in a different room. So all of these things. I'm not a sleep expert, so I would advise you to go and look for one. But just prioritize sleep, prioritize rest in general. Doing nothing, relaxing. Even if you're in bed and you're not able to sleep, at least you're already like relaxing and doing nothing, and that's already something, right? At least that's what I tell myself on nights where I can't sleep well. And then the other thing is movement, right? Incorporate movements wherever you can. Like sometimes I just will do some squats in between meetings. Walking, like going for walks with a podcast on or some music on, is a good way to do it. Now you have a lot of apps videos that allow you to do 10-minute workouts. Like honestly, for me, 10-minute workouts are much better than doing nothing, and I can see the difference. So really incorporating movement wherever you can. And sometimes it's not about signing up for a 1 hour yoga session, but it's really about what you can add in your daily day. in your daily life, sorry. And I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's also about habit stacking, right? Is there anything you can do while you're cooking, like dancing? Is there anything you can do while you're doing another task? And that also helps your brain doing it automatically. So when I was talking about the breathing exercises that I do in bed, I do them at night, I do them in the morning when I wake up. In my brain, it's really easy because it's just linked to those moments. So this is what I mean by habit stacking. Then food. I personally have stopped eating gluten and processed sugar because I realized I was intolerant to gluten. And when I stopped, oh my gosh, I realized how much I was suffering, how much energy was going into, experiencing stomachache and things like that. And so I would really recommend being intentional. Again, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, I don't have any specific advice, but I would recommend you are intentional about recognizing what food is making you sleepier, what food is giving you stomachache potentially, and try and replace it, cut it out. Sometimes it's hard depending what type of food it is, but if you have doubts, ask your doctor about it. But yeah, food is very important. And then socializing, which is the one for me that always falls to the wayside when life gets crazy. But just making sure you go outside of your house, especially if you work remotely like me. You see people, you see friends, you see family, and you make regular time for this. Even when you're tired, like you might be the type of person who needs alone time to recharge, and that is very important. I need alone time sometimes to recharge, but I also know my mental health is better when I prioritize regularly meeting with friends and doing things outside of the house with my partner and seeing my family. So really, all those things that are the basics. I've said them before, I'm gonna say them again, but to me it's not about doing a lot of them, but it's about incorporating in your daily life. And I think that is super important. And then the other things you can do to manage your energy levels are to make sure you take enough breaks when you're working. Just get up, go outside, do a breathing exercise, dance it out if you're working at home like me, put on some music in between meetings. In the morning, like have some type of morning routine that puts you in a good state, like whatever it is, whether it's having a gratefulness practice, whether it's meditating, whether it's right now what I'm doing is a priming YouTube video from Tony Robbins that you can find on YouTube. It's like 15 minutes and it allows me to get my energy going, to visualize my goals, to just get ready and feel good for the day and feel empowered and feel like I want to go work as well. Because sometimes, I mean, all of us, sometimes we wake up and we don't really want to go to work, even if we like our job, even if we like the work we do. And so this is when doing those priming exercise, going outside, getting some sunlight in, getting a good breakfast in, will really, really help. It won't work every day. Sometimes we'll have days that are harder than others, and that is okay too. But it will definitely, definitely help. And I think the second part of it that I've talked about so many times and will continue to drill into your brain is becoming very productive. And what I mean about becoming very productive is not about doing more, it's about doing more of what matters. And so that means being really good at prioritizing and reprioritizing, like knowing what's your top priority during the day, and if it changes because you realize it has to change or a client has to prioritize something else, it's about being honest and forward and saying, okay, this is the workload I have today and I can't just add something on, so that means something else has to go. Do we agree that this is the thing that needs to go and this is why? Like just being intentional about it, phrasing it, telling people that is so helpful. I think another thing as well, it's about priority, it's about knowing to learn your rhythm for working, like when you are the most efficient. For me, it's the morning and it's at the end of the day, and so that means a lot of my meetings are at the beginning of the afternoon or tasks that don't require as much brain power. I think as well, it's about, finding some hacks that work for you. For me, Eat the Frog, the methodology Eat the Frog, doing the most important task of the day first thing in the morning before I open anything else like emails, anything, is really helpful because then I have that feeling that, yes, I've done something. No matter how my day goes, I've already accomplished something. Um, and then as well, just being mindful of your energy, and on days where you have less energy, being okay with that, accepting that, giving 100% to the 10% you have of energy during the day. If you come in with 10% of your usual energy, then you give to work 100% of those 10%. And I think also always reminding ourselves that we're not robots. It's okay and normal to not have the same level of energy every day. So that's absolutely okay. And I think becoming more productive that way, those of the things that I use, makes it easier to do great work in less hours. And so that also allows you, when your energy levels are down, to adapt. So I think for me, it's really twofold, right? It's when you've gone through burnout, you've gone through depression, you've gone through a chronic illness, like your energy levels can't get lower. And so it's really about becoming intentional about what you can do and what is in your control in your daily life to bring your energy level higher and to make them more consistent. And then it's about rethinking how you work, rethinking about your productivity, not telling yourself, I think the mindset aspect is so important as well, not telling yourself, oh, like I'm not going to be able to do as much or as good of a work as others because my energy can fluctuate more. That's not true. Like, that is definitely not true. You can actually do a better job because you're gonna lock in and you're gonna tell yourself, okay, since I can't just keep on adding tasks and working 12-hour days, how do I make it such that the work that I do counts so much more and that I'm so much more efficient? Oh yeah, and one last thing as well, trying to have deep focus session, like deep work session. And this is when I was saying, like, the first thing in the morning, I first try to do my task before opening anything else, is because having in your calendar blocking focus sessions is really gonna help you to hone in. Like, I even have a timer. It's not on my phone because my phone is usually in a drawer in my desk, so I don't see it when I'm working. But I have like those, I bought it on Amazon if you're interested. It's like those cooking timer. And so I will just put my timer and say, hey, like right now I have an hour, and it will ring, or I'll put some music on in the back. Usually I put on like some piano or like music without lyrics, so something that, a mix of music that will help me focus. Sometimes it's nature sounds, and so it will really get me in the flow. And so if you're able to get this, I keep saying and so, sorry about that. If you're really able to get those focus times in, then you will be able to be very productive in those times and you'll be able to get more done. And giving yourself grace when there are days where you won't be productive, that happens to all of us. It's fine. You get to start again tomorrow. Figure out how to reassess your workload, what you can do where you don't need as much focus time during that day, and you'll be okay. I hope this was super useful. If you want to hear more about how I manage my energy levels or how to manage your energy levels when you don't have that much energy for work and still getting a lot of the work that matters done and still being productive and doing a good job, please subscribe. Let me know if there are specific topics that you want me to talk about. I'm super excited to have you on this journey with me and to share more about all of my learnings in those areas. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!